ins and outs in the internet underground. Everyone knows who I am. The world is my chessboard and war is the tool of the game. Don't hate me, I'm just a messenger. Say what you want about me, but I speak the truth. The truth, the truth. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Punks.
What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. I know we haven't tuned in for some time, and this is the first True Capitalist Radio of the year. But before we get started on anything, I'd like to ask everybody to please spread this show across the internets and throughout the world. And let everybody let them all know that the True Capitalist Radio broadcast is in effect and in the house. And we are live right now. And tentatively, I do these shows on Mondays at 5 p.m., but we shall see. All right, this is episode number 758 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And once again, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody out there who is listening. This is the first True Capitalist Radio of 2026, and by God, things have gone completely in a 180. And we're going to talk about all that here today. So cheers to everybody out there who is listening to the broadcast. And we got Devious Dave, War with Venezuela, our Mexicans versus theirs, Home Depot versus Lowe's. That's on a Rumble rant, by the way, if you're asking me why. And there's Weibo Ghost with a Rumble rant. Hi, Dad. All right, well, thank you very much. All right, let's go ahead and get started, folks. You know how we get started on the True Capitalist Radio Show with the markets. Now, folks, I have been trying to tell everybody that the markets right now, put the PC shot on, we are in euphoria land when it comes to equities. All right, right now, everybody is in high spirits because of the military operation that was conducted by the United States on Venezuela, which is what we're going to talk about here shortly. But this is where the optimism is coming in. I personally do not see it. I see nothing but a bunch of closures, of a bunch of layoffs. I'm seeing nothing but red signs that we are headed into at least a recession, if not a depression. But the only reason that everybody is still investing, as I've stated, is that we created a whole euphoria retail investment class that literally does not know what it's doing, and it's only following what everybody else is doing, and hence why we're seeing that the majority of the market's money is in like 7 or 8 companies. And these companies are legitimately just playing hot potato with billions of dollars and passing it around with each other and claiming that it's profit. All right, it's an absolute joke. And I can't wait for the retail investors to get shaken out of this market. And I want to get back to true market principles where the whole fundamental reason of investing into a company is because of profitability. All right? And that's not what people are investing in on. People are investing just because some schmuck on Wall Street Bets says to fucking buy this dying company. Now, with that being said, we did see some optimism in the market today because of the military operation in Venezuela. And we've got the Dow Jones Industrial, all right, up 1.23% because the majority of the folks on that particular indice are probably going to benefit from the Venezuelan operation because many of the oil companies reside in the Dow. So that's why you see 1.23% increase because of that optimism. And, of course, that trickled down to the other indices. All right, once again, Dow Jones up 1.23%. Dow is closing out at 48,977.18 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. We've got the S&P 500. It is also up today because of the optimism of the military operation by the United States. It is up 0.64%, closing out the S&P at 6,902.05 points for the S&P 500. We also have got the NASDAQ. It is up modestly, 0.69%. Closing out the NASDAQ at 23,395.82 points for the NASDAQ composite. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the commodities. Now, oil, for some reason, in my opinion, is just taking off because of the optimism of the potential investment that the United States oil companies are going to make with the newly acquired Venezuelan oil because of the military operation. Now, I think that people need to calm their asses down. Part of the reason why Trump targeted, there's a bunch of reasons, but one of the main reasons why was not only to take over the oil, but he kind of needs the oil in order to overflood our domestic markets with Venezuelan oil in order to bring the cost of gasoline down. All right, that's really the point, because the tariffs, as I told you all in 2024, we're not going to do anything but raise prices on top of an already raising inflation. And I'm sure many of you that are shopping at the grocery store know exactly what I'm talking about. So with that being said, that was one of many motivating factors on why Venezuela was targeted, because if Trump can get energy prices, particularly gasoline prices, down to about $1 and change, that offsets any of the tariff inflation on goods. All right, so that is a motivating factor. But let's talk a little bit about metals. Okay, well, hold on. Let me give you the price of crude. WTI sweet crude is up 83 cents, 1.45% on the day. Current price for WTI sweet crude, $58.13 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. Brent crude is up also. It is up 79 cents. A percentage increase of 1.31%, closing out Brent crude, or the current price for Brent crude, $61.52 per barrel of Brent crude. Now, with that being said, we did see some decreases in natural gas. Natural gas is down 3.9% on the day. We've got gasoline. You see, the Europeans are starting to recognize this. Gas in Europe is down 5.05%, and also in the UK, 6.40%. Propane is also down today, 2.95%. Now let's talk about the metals. And did I tell you all right, for the past couple of years, that you needed to increase your silver portfolio at least 20+% of your portfolio? I tried to tell everybody that. I even tried to say that, especially this year and last year, because I knew that inflation was not going to come down, especially we got a president touting in 24, which is now implementing those economic policies of tariffs. I knew that there was nowhere else to go but silver. Now, I know many people were saying, well, what about gold? I've been telling people that gold has already been overbought. And the ratio of gold to silver was too wide of a spread. Now it's starting to kind of, lower that spread between gold and silver. Not to say silver is going to ever equate to the price of gold, but you're not going to get as much yield on investment if you invested it in gold. I mean, look, let's go ahead and take a look at gold first, all right? It is up, all right? I think we're at all-time highs right now for gold. It is up 2.83% on the day, $122 increase on the day. Current price for gold is $4,454.15 per troy ounce of gold. Now let's get to silver. I tried to tell all of you, look at this one-year chart. I tried to tell all of you to go into silver, especially this year, because I told you that the markets are going to be topsy-turvy. The bull market post-COVID is over. And all anybody's doing in the equities market is following the leader. And because we're making this radical transition in economic policy, I think it's very unsafe to keep a lot of your wealth in stocks particularly. So I tried to tell everybody to get into silver. Silver's going to $100, and people thought I was a fucking idiot. You know that? I was telling everybody that we were going to see $100 silver, and we're like less than, $24 away from that right now. Now, I hope many of you listen to me, because if you did, you are heel kicking right now, because, I think we're on our way to 100. I mean, there's no ending in spending as far as government spending in sight. They're cutting rates into inflation right now, the Federal Reserve, and it looks like they're going to continue to cut rates. The tariffs are going to continue to rise prices on goods. There's nothing but the limit. Where fucking silver stops, nobody knows. All right? So I hope many of you are understanding. We are going to hit 100. Now, I think she's going to go over 100. But where she stops, I have no idea. And I caution people that you have to know when to get out of silver, because it will crash. I mean, there's no steadily downward, trend. No, it'll absolutely crash when the absolute peak of the apex of this chart goes at its highest. It'll absolutely crash. So I strongly advise people, even though you're heel kicking right now, try to plan an exit post $100. I can't tell you what that fucking price is, because this is a very volatile market. But I tried to tell each and every one of you to buy silver. I mean, look at this. If you could have bought it this year at about $22. Let's look at the 5-year chart on that shit. All right, the 5-year chart, look at this. You could have got in at $12, $11 back in 2022. All right? And guess what? That's when all the crypto tards were getting in and buying back into crypto and thinking that this and that. And guess what? Silver has outperformed Bitcoin. Silver has outperformed every successful crypto. I tried to tell you folks. I hope you listen. And we got some Rumble rants. Purple Juice, Big Bear Gamer 1-on-1, or get located and get, I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. And Purple Juice, cheers to Ghosts on TCR. I miss TCR, not going to lie. TCR for 2026. And then we got Devious Dave. Are you feeling optimistic about the economy? We need some optimism. No, I'm telling you, I think you need to put your money into a safe haven or save your money. And I know there's going to be people that are saying, well, Ghost, the value of the dollar is going down. Technically, it is in pairing with other international currencies. But I caution you that is a deceptive. That is very deceptive, because we're transitioning our economy from an international-based economy to a hemispheric economy, meaning that the Western Hemisphere is going to be our economic playground. And I'm going to talk about this here in a second, all right? And wait a minute, I'm glad to see TCR back. Cheers, Drunkler. All right, I'll probably invest all my money into stocks. Yeah, you're an idiot if you do, all right? But anyway, we've got Old Man Frank. Hey, Porky, what do you think about the super flu they're starting to talk about? I'll be honest with you. I would like to know who's getting afflicted and whether or not they've had vaccines. That's all I got to say about that. And Burger Guy, hey, Ghost, how you doing, Dad? He still thinks you're a disappointment, whatever that means. All right, anyway, once again, silver, all right, current price, $76.08, all right, it is up $3.46 on the day, up 4.73% on the day as well. I'm still a buyer at silver. I think it goes up over 100. Where she stops, nobody knows. And that's why I'm telling you, man, it is. I told you I was going to go for 100. You people thought I was a moron. Ghost, he's not going to 100. Well, look at me now. All right, a prognosticator strikes again. And take a look at the year-to-date increase. All right, if you would have invested in silver this time last year, you'd be up 155.98% on your money. So there you go. All right, copper as well. I've written a lot about copper on Ghost Stop Report because we have this hard on it. Well, at least we're starting to wear off on this romance with electronic vehicles. But we got this idea of electronic vehicles being the future, and a lot of these electronic vehicles require like 50 to 70 pounds of silver in order for it to be operatable. And also, if it's a bus or a truck or some shit, that could be a couple of 100 pounds of copper. So anyway, once again, lots of increases. Now, platinum is something that's very interesting. Platinum, if you would have invested in it year to date last year, you'd be up 143.17% on your money. Now, this, of course, because of the current uncertainty in the world, this falls under the category of rare earths. Rare earths, and this is why you're seeing so much optimism in the platinum market. All right, so just FYI, let's go ahead and get to the agriculture. Take a look at all the increases on the day, on the month. Now, the reason is because, first, I had told each and every one of you that we were going to see a short-term decrease in commodities, particularly agriculture and livestock, because of the tariffs. All right, we already had many of our international trading partners, the first reaction, which I said was going to happen in 24, by the way, their first reaction was to cut the contracts from our livestock and agricultural producers. So because agriculture has a finite lifespan, it's got to unload all this shit for whatever it can get before it rots. And that's why you're seeing all this decrease year to date as far as agriculture is concerned. But we're creeping on a come up here, and I'd like to focus everybody's attention on orange juice. Take a look at the monthly increase on orange juice, 34.26%. And the reason is because the Brazil, they're a big producer, huge producer in OJ. They downgraded their expectation of orange yield. Now, whether that's intentional because the United States and Brazil are at a very contentious relationship because of Bolsonaro, I mean, you got to be the judge of that. But that's how you have to view investment nowadays, because we're no longer friendly trading partners with the world. The United States has taken a whole new approach at foreign policy, which we are going to get to at some point in this broadcast. But once again, seeing green, seeing upward trends on most agriculture. Let's go to livestock. Now, eggs, because it was such a touching issue at the beginning of last year, during the beginning of the Trump administration did whatever it could in order to bring egg prices down. And as you can see, year to date, they're down 90%. Let's take a look at a chart on that. All right, eggs down. Let's go ahead. That's remember, they were like $9 a dozen. Now they're down 55 cents. All right, so let them eat eggs is what Trump is saying. What I don't like is Trump's attempt at trying to lower cattle prices by flooding the United States market with a bunch of South American poverty beef that I certainly do not want to consume. And if I'm going to consume it, I want to know what it is. That shit should be labeled, and it's not labeled. All right, but take a look at the cattle prices here. Let's look at live cattle here. All right, when Trump decided that he was going to influx the damn country with poverty beef, that's where you had this dip here. But look, I mean, let me tell you the reason why we're not going to see any kind of relief in cattle or in beef prices, because the American farmer is being eliminated. And what do I mean by that? Typically, they're getting out of the business. The old man that runs the farm passes on, leaves the farm to the children. The children, they get an offer they can't refuse from corporate America, which is now comprised the majority of the heartland farmland. It's all corporate run now. You barely get any independent farmers anymore, and that's the problem with the beef prices. The beef prices have been completely taken over by corporate interest, particularly the meat packers. It's not even the producers. All right, if you really investigate into beef and why it's going up, it's the consolidation of the Texas Cattle Association with the Meat Packers Association. And the meat packers have legitimately taken it over because there's less than a handful of meat packers that pack the meat, I'm not joking, in today's American market. So this is what's causing it. And I think everybody needs to recognize that if we're going to make America great again, like what Trump is claiming, we've got to absolutely incentivize, cattle farming. We got to incentivize it. Anyway, Lime, welcome back to TCR, Daddy. I want to let you know that I'm sitting on my phone while the show is going on. Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. And then we got another Rumble rant here from, Burger Guy. Get out of here. You're just being a troll, for Christ's sake. This ain't the Ghost Show, jerk nut. But anyway, we're not going to see any relief in beef prices. Lean hog, we may or may not see relief there because the majority of the producers, their customer was China. And China isn't really buying much from us right now, so we shall see when it comes to livestock. Now, let's go ahead and get to cryptocurrency, folks, because right now, these crypto tards are now, getting funny in the pants because they believe that they are in the money because we're seeing a little bit of an increase in Bitcoin. Now, I warn you all, do not fall for this trap. Put the PC shot on. Do not fall for this trap. All right, what is it? 93, it was at 94 about an hour ago. Don't fall for this, folks. What these people are doing, the Michael Saylors, the fucking Black Rocks, the whales that have been dormant, that mined this shit when Satoshi actually shitted this out in 2010, all these people are starting to incrementally sell off every time there's a spike. That's why if you go over any social media, you got all these AI bots, trying to propagandize you into believing that, oh my God, Bitcoin, here we go, we're so back, 94,000, it's going to go up to $1 million. It is not going to go up to $1 million, you fucking tards. All right? You know how much of liquidity, floating fiat currency it would take to make this damn thing $1 million? And if it ever was $1 million, then that means that the United States currency, or whatever currency it is paired with, is the equivalent of toilet paper. All right? If Bitcoin is ever $1 million, that means the United States dollar has collapsed. Okay? And nobody's going to want to accept this anyway. And with the increase in silver, a lot of these crypto tards got demoralized. I don't know if you saw this on social media. A lot of these crypto tard influencers were like, I sold all my crypto. I'm sick of it. All I did was lose money. I'm putting all my money in silver. And literally, they're pissed off because they've been holding this shit for a long period of time, for years, and they didn't get anywhere near the yield that people got with silver this year alone. So I'm telling you right now, folks, all right, it's a trap. Don't put your money in this shit.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, don't put your money in this shit. You're only giving your money to BlackRock and these fucking whales that are incrementally selling off. And the thing about BlackRock,
I'd buy that for
the thing
$1.
about BlackRock, which is what I've been saying for some time, is that BlackRock, not only is it pumping up the price to incrementally sell for profit, it's also shorting the damn thing. All right, for extra profit, for Christ's sake. All right, so, I'm telling you right now, that's what we're dealing with here. All right, anyway, I got some idiots here fucking spamming, for Christ's sake, all right? All right, look, I get it. I've got like a troll show on the Ghost Show. Just cut it out, all right? Fucking tards. All right, let's go ahead and transition, no pun intended, from the markets to a little bit of some domestic news, and then we're going to get into the crux of this show, which is Venezuela and the American Empire 2.0. All right? Now, the whole reason also, let's just go ahead and get into some news here. All right? Now transitioning from the markets to some domestic news. Somebody in the chat room was asking, Ghost, can you explain to us why it's a good thing to save money? Well, it's a good thing to save money because right now, if you compare our prices, or I should say the comparison of our value of the dollar to other currencies, it doesn't really look good, right? Take a look at the dollar index. Put the PC shot on. All right? Now, the dollar index is the dollar compared to other currencies, and it's not looking too good. You want to know why? Because this tariff, this reestablishing of the new order of economics, which right now is a lot of protectionism. So when you have protectionism, the dollar becomes more valuable in the domestic front than it does on the international front. And moreover, most people aren't saving their money. Most people are burning their money. Most people are putting themselves in credit debt. And I'm telling you right now, it is not something that is going to be pretty here in the next year or so. And even though you've got all this money printed, most of these folks are paying it to the corporations that are just gobbling it up and saving it themselves. All right? And by the way, I'm not... thank you, Sophie Kraft. I appreciate it. I appreciate the Rumble rant. Any dollar Rumble rants, I'm not acknowledging them anymore, all right? Because you people are idiot trolls. I'm not acknowledging them. Don't even bother Rumble ranting for $1. I'm not even going to acknowledge them, all right? Jesus Christ. Speaking of the dollar, okay? Now, Ghost, what do you mean that the dollar is going to be valuable here on the domestic front? Well, aside from the domestic front, now that we are changing our foreign policy into a more dominant hemisphere-based, Western hemisphere-based foreign policy, I believe that the dollar is going to be accepted all over South America, Central America, the United States, Canada, etc. I mean, that was the whole reason why Trump bailed out Argentina. You know, that Milei freaked out moron, looks crazy, afro and shit. The whole reason why he hooked it up with $40 billion of U.S. tax dollars in order to bail them out is to dollarize Argentina. Dollarize Argentina. So even though there may be a lot of outstanding fiat currency printed, it becomes an influence of power on this side of the hemisphere. I mean, we don't necessarily have to go into every country in South America in order to dominate their affairs. All right? If they accept the United States dollar in their country and it supersedes the acceptance of their own currency, then the United States is in control of those countries. And you see, in my opinion, I think that even though you may be losing value per se in comparison to other currencies, you're still going to be having a nest egg in which not only can you have at will to spend in this country, but also in South America coming soon. All right, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some domestic news before we get to Venezuela. All right, now the big news in politics in America today, Kookster Tim Walz came out and said that he's dropping his bid for a third term as Minnesota's governor. Klobuchar is considering, Jesus Christ, that loudmouth broad. But anyway, look, Tim Walz, I don't even know how Minnesota even put this guy into power. I thought he was a horrible vice presidential candidate. He's probably one of the real reasons why Kamala had less appeal, considering she did the same template of campaign as Obama. But as I stated, this was a bad situation for Walz. For all those that don't know, there was an expose, not by that kid Nick Shirley. This was actually a DOJ investigation that found that federal monies that had been dispensed to the state were actually dispensed to Saudi immigrants under the guise of different types of nonprofit organizations, such as child care, daycare centers, community centers, and that sort of thing. Millions of dollars of federal funds that were dispersed by the state to these Somali communities, and it seems as if that the reason they did it was because they wanted to solidify a Somali voting base in order for the Democrats to dominate the politic of Minnesota. So that is the real reason. Now, I know many MAGA people are out there saying, well, somebody's got to go to jail. All right, Tim Walz has got to go to jail. Look, I hope you MAGA-tards recognize that nothing is going to happen. All right? Nothing is going to happen. let's say the feds try to arrest Tim Walz or indict Tim Walz. You know what Tim Walz's defense is going to be? Tim Walz's defense is going to be, well, look at Donald Trump. He's grifting throughout the whole presidential seat. He's been grifting. He's been putting fucking money and putting it in his pocket. He's been doing this. How is this any different from that? And moreover, I do also want to add that this kind of shit happens in every state. You could, maybe not with Somalis, but you can find this type of corruption in every fucking state. Now, this opens up another issue on whether or not the American people need to be a little bit more cognizant on where all this money is going. Because if this is a government made for the people and by the people, then how come nobody knew this was going on? It took an investigation by the Justice Department, which in turn inspired some independent journalists like Nick Shirley and others to go in and investigate. We need the American public to stop thinking that politics is a fucking wrestling match. All right?
I'd buy that for a
All right, it's about running the country. And we got to run it properly, all right? Anyway, we got Jatario who said, say it louder, the retard crypto bros are in the back. Yeah, he's talking about not investing into crypto. Cheers to you, Jatario. And someone said, it's about time. People were asking me about this shit. Welcome back, Ralphie boy. Well, thank you, someone. I appreciate it. And then we got Kits Does a Flip, who hooked it up with a Buy Me a Coffee, who said, notice how Walz dropped his election around the same time Melissa Hortman's murder becomes talks again. Things that make you go, And I'm not saying what you said below that in the parentheses there, Kits Does a Flip. That's inappropriate. Anyway, trolling the interwebs. Hold on, let me get to this one. Not Doomcat with a $5 Rumble rant said, didn't Nick's guys expose video on fraud learning center office on X or Twitter is proven fake and gay? He was speechless when a bystander confronted him and asked him why he didn't report it to the authorities. Well, it's not fake and gay. It's really happening. The problem is that this is technically legal. The feds cannot come in and dictate to the states what funds and what funds are they going to get. Well, first of all, they give them funds, but how to spend those funds is outside the purview of the federal government. And if we do decide, or at least this Trump administration decides to supersede that, then that is kind of stepping on states' rights issues. Now, what Trump could do is just stop what he's done now, stop funding, all right, a lot of these fraudulent avenues that the state is using to provide these Somalis with these millions of dollars of funds and that sort of thing. But no one's going to get arrested. The only people that may get arrested are some Somalis. Walz, any of these Minnesota officials, none of that shit. Nobody is going to be arrested. Just like Hillary isn't going to be arrested, just like Bill Clinton isn't going to be arrested. Because, look, folks, if Trump decided to arrest these folks, he sets a precedent for himself to be arrested, his children to be arrested, the people that helped him in this administration to be arrested, and you don't want to set that precedent, buddy. All right? You don't want to set that precedent. And trolling the interwebs with a Rumble rant. True that, politicians never get arrested, especially congressmen. Being a politician is a license to steal, defraud, and lie under oath. Well, I completely agree with you, trolling the interwebs, but it's because the electorate, which is designated to run the government, a government made for the people and by the people, don't know what the fuck they're doing. To quote Trump here recently, they don't know what they're doing. All right? When you've got some stupid, effeminate fucking fruit bowl burrito eater like fucking Nick Fuentes, who is out here being fawned over by the alt-right, the white nationalists, or whatever the fuck you want to call these people. This is literally the movie Idiocy, or Idiocracy, or whatever the fuck it's called. This is literally the movie. So the electorate right now are fucking idiots, and look, I'll be honest with you, I don't think everybody in America should have the right to vote. And I've said this millions of times, and I'll say it again. I think that a prerequisite for anybody to vote is to bring in your fucking taxes that you filed the previous fucking year to show that you're a taxpayer, and that right there is your fucking voter ID on whether or not you get to vote or not. If you're some fucking piece of shit that is collecting off of the government dole and you don't provide any taxes to the fucking system whatsoever, then you don't get the right to vote. You are dead weight. All right, you should be lucky you even exist in this country when you do absolutely nothing. You provide no productivity whatsoever. So that's my opinion. All right? Anyway. And Marshall Bernsey, first Russia, second Venezuela, China, and commie lovers are next. Well, you don't even know what you're talking about. All right? Why don't you go stick to, I don't know, painting figurines or whatever the hell it is that you do, all right? And leave the politics to the big boys, all right, buddy? Jesus Christ. But anyway, I just wanted to go over this with Walls. Nothing's going to happen. And this kind of shit is happening in every state, not necessarily with Somalians, but with other, groups. Many of them could be American groups. Many of them could be homeowners associations and nonprofit organizations. It's the same shit. I mean, the only way that this is going to get rectified is if the people got smart and start recognizing that, hey, we got like $38.5 trillion worth of debt. Let's stop this shit. All right. Another big topic today in the domestic front of news. Of course, Hegseth trying to get political using, I guess, whatever clout he has as the defense secretary or secretary of war, whatever the fuck it's called now. And he's using this to get back at his political enemies, and this enemy is Mark Kelly. Now, Pentagon is looking to cut Senator Mark Kelly's military retirement pay over the seditious video of him and other folks that were Democrats telling the military to not obey unlawful orders. Now, I think this is funny because, Hegseth is obviously utilizing the Department of War as a means of political revenge, but it's very funny that he's wanting to cut Mark Kelly's military retirement for saying that, hey, military troops should not abide by unlawful orders. Because once upon a time, Mr. fucking Hegseth over here was a huge critic of Trump and whether or not Trump was going to give unlawful orders. Take a look at this. Hegseth in 2016 repeatedly warned of Trump issuing unlawful military orders. So should we strip this guy's pay now? Should we strip this guy's pay? And if you're going to say, let CNN goes, who gives you shit? Oh, yeah? Take a look at this from his own fucking mouth. All right? From his own mouth. Typical. From his own mouth in 16, you morons. Put the PC shot on. Here it is. Look, there's Hegseth in 16 talking to that Megyn Kelly whore. Play it.
Trump, all bluster, very little substance. He talks a tough game. But then when pressed on it, he's an armchair tough guy. I hate to say it, but this is a guy who said that John McCain is not a war hero, yet he sought his own 5 military deferments. It's typical.
I'd buy that for $1.
What happened, Hegseth? Come on. And TCS, I realize that there are so many communists in my country after finding out that they want the narco-terrorist dictator Maduro released and that there's not a single Venezuela with them. I don't care what happens to Canada, but I hope these communist pieces of shit are going to be taken care of. All right, that was TCS, by the way, on a Buy Me a Coffee who said that. But look, the contradictions continue. All right? Take a look at this. Here's Hegseth talking in front of a group of veterans here. All right, take a look at this. Put the PC shot on. What a fucking hypocrite. Play this shit. Here, let me so everybody can watch this. Here, play it. Here it is.
Comment on soldiers who are being held at Leavenworth prison for being soldiers.
Yeah, I don't know all the particulars of all those cases, and I do know Beverly Pearlson and a few others who are just tireless advocates for guys on the battlefield who have been a part of unfortunate incidents. There are some guys at Leavenworth who made really bad choices on the battlefield, and I do think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes. If you're doing something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders.
What won't follow unlawful orders? Their egg sets.
From their commander-in-chief. There's a standard, there's an ethos, there's a belief that we are above what so many things that our enemies or others would do. But there are also plenty of guys there. Clint Lorentz is a name that comes to mind immediately.
Anyway, I think you all get the fucking point, all right? Now, I just want to say that you can't have a double standard because that ruins your credibility, which is what, aside from Epstein and a whole bunch of other shit, has ruined the credibility of this administration. Now, while I applaud our American military for conducting this operation in Venezuela to snag Maduro, I do question what the fuck we're actually doing. And if we are going to conquer the Western Hemisphere, then that is going to redefine the world order. Now, let's go ahead and talk about that because the majority of the rest of this broadcast is going to be dedicated to international relations. Now, what are we in here? Are we in Trump's Monroe Doctrine? Redefines great power, competition in the Americas. Now it's Beijing's move. Now, let me tell you something. This situation in Venezuela killed like 80 birds with one stone. I talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, it's going to attempt, or at least they're going to attempt, to lower gas prices in America to offset the inflation caused by tariffs. Okay? Because, higher prices on goods don't seem as bad if you're paying $1 in change for fucking gasoline. All right? But what this means is America is now in the business of imperial ambitions. And obviously, we want to dominate the Western Hemisphere, and we're kind of taking a step back from what's going on in the other parts of the world, which is what I said Trump was starting to sound like in 24, and he's certainly doing it with his actions in 25 and 26. Now, what does this mean? This means that Trump and this administration doesn't necessarily want to be the police of the world per se, which I think has long-term implications, but wants to be the owner of the Western Hemisphere. And we want to control the Western Hemisphere. We don't want any influence of China, Russia, India, anybody in South America, in Mexico, Central America. And that's why you have this very aggressive tone by Trump when it comes to this particular foreign policy. Now, I know many people are saying, well, Ghost, I mean, are we at war? I mean, what are we doing here? Well, let me explain. First of all, this was not Trump's doing, okay? And I'll be honest with you, it's all Marco Rubio, okay? Now, I have to give Marco Rubio credit. You know, he had to work around Trump's hard-on for Russia in order to put or force Trump to emphasize this new foreign policy. Take a look at this. Viceroy of Venezuela, the assassination plot that made Marco Rubio, and let me tell you something. It says right here, in 2017, Marco was placed under police protection because of a threat of assassination from Venezuela. So this particular article by the Telegraph suggests that that was a motive, which, I don't know, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but he is the brains behind this foreign policy. Now, what I find really, really unbelievable is how they are legally doing this without Congress approval. Okay? How they're doing this without council approval. Let me show you how they're doing it. First of all, they nagged Maduro and his wife. We didn't have any casualties on our side. I think we killed about 35 of Maduro's henchmen, which happened to be Cuban, by the way. During the raid in extracting Maduro, the United States killed, I think, about 35 Cuban special forces that were there to protect Maduro. Okay? Snagged Maduro and his wife. We brought them over here, and now they're in New York City and he's in a New York City court. Put the PC shot on. All right? Maduro pleads guilty.
I'd buy that for $1.
Excuse me. Maduro pleads not guilty at an NYC court in first court appearance. Now, what are they charging him with? They're charging him with federal drug trafficking charges. Now, this is why Trump was blowing up boats and doing all that shit prior to this whole extraction of Maduro, to try to give the legal ease to justify this particular military action. You know, he also designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. He also designated the narcos as terrorists, I should say. And this is what is providing the legal justification of nabbing Maduro, because we have no boots on the ground. Okay? So the way they're operating this is that this is a police action. And that's why you've got the Maduro being held in New York City. And he's not being tried as like some kind of war criminal. He's not being tried as some sort of, some sort of fucking crimes against humanity leader. No, he's being tried as a federal drug trafficker. So that's how they were able to do this. And very confusing. Because right now, who's in charge of Venezuela at this point? Now, according to Trump claims that we're in charge of it. Trump claims that we have people on the ground. Well, not our people, but we've got folks that are working within the apparatus of Venezuela that are willing to play ball with us, according to Trump. But Rubio kind of contradicted that statement here. And Rubio says that the U.S. will press change in Venezuela through oil embargoes, oil embargoes, while Trump insists that we are in charge. Now, this is going to be very, very tricky because we, at least this current foreign policy, it's kind of like similar to what we did with the Afghanistan situation when we kind of subcontracted the Northern Alliance that were on the ground at the time, that were the opposition to the Taliban. We kind of gave them weapons, we funded them, all that shit, and it got us nowhere. I mean, remember the Battle of Tora Bora? Supposedly Bin Laden, got through and all that shit. This kind of reminds me of that. I think that we have to have boots on the ground, if you want my personal opinion, if we are going to truly be in charge of Venezuela. And the second thing I would like to add is that if we're going to be in charge of Venezuela and we're going to own the oil, then that oil being sold, the revenue from that should be specifically dedicated to the principal of the national debt. And I'm telling you right now, I think everybody in politics in America today, if you have any aspiration to be political, you should be focused on paying down the national debt's principal. Because that's what'll fix the economy. All right? Because if we continue to go higher in debt, so long as we pay the principal down, bondholders will continue to purchase our debt because they know that we're good for, we're good for it. I mean, we're at $38.5 trillion worth of debt. And as I've stated, truth be told, these tariffs that Trump implemented, they weren't to get rid. This was not to get rid of the IRS, okay? He just said that to get everybody feeling funny in the pants so that when he actually did this extreme economic policy, people would be optimistic about it. Truth be told, folks, the tariffs are a supplementation to the corporate and personal income tax that is received by the government because we can't pay the interest on the debt anymore with personal and corporate income tax, believe it or not. So what we have to do so that we can continue to, pull out debt so that bondholders continue to buy our debt is we got to find another source of revenue. And that source of revenue is tariffs. And that's another reason driving this imperial ambition of this administration. And that's why I'm saying if we're going to be in charge of Venezuela and we're going to be in possession of the oil, the revenues from that oil need to go to the principal of the debt. And if this is not going to go to the principal of the debt, we got to come up with some revenue-generating source as a country in order for us to pay the principal of the debt. That's the only way this works. That's the only way we sustain the continuity of this country. You understand? It's the only way. So who's in charge? It seems as if we're kind of muscling those that are in charge. So what does this mean? If they don't do what we say, like if Rubio calls up and they don't do what we say, do we nab the other person that's in charge? Do we drone strike him? What the fuck do we do? What do we do? This is, there's a lot of questions. Don't get me wrong. I applaud the United States military for conducting this operation with no casualties on the United States side. But there's still a lot of questions going on. And, of course, the administration is being kind of very vague about the future. All right? Now, the current acting president was just sworn in. It's a lady. Her name is Delcy Rodriguez. And she's come out and she's blamed Maduro's capture on the Jews. Take a look at this. Venezuelan acting president blames Zionists for Maduro's capture. Well, it doesn't sound like this bitch is going to be very, cooperative when it comes to the United States of America. All right? So, right off the bat, it doesn't look like this apparatus is going to play ball with the United States. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I sincerely hope that we can take over this country, get the oil revenues, and pay down the principal of the debt. But I don't think so. I mean, I don't see anything but boots on the ground solving this. But we'll see what happens, all right? Let's see if they do cooperate. Let's see if you have a part of the apparatus, that may be willing to cooperate. Who knows? But look, that's not the only country we're eyeballing, all right? This is America Empire 2.0, baby. Rubio, who I believe is the mastermind behind all this foreign policy now. I think Trump is giving him carte blanche to do whatever it is at this point. Marco Rubio issues a huge warning to Cuba after the Maduro capture. They're in a lot of trouble, according to Marco Rubio. And let me tell you something. I am for this as well. Are you kidding me? Cuba is, first of all, a very big piece of geography that's in our vested national security interest. All right, and aside from that, it's a decent country. It's got seaside views, beach views. It's got mountainous areas. It's got forests. I'll be honest with you. If they're able to capture that shit, I would consider moving to Cuba. I'm not. Are you fucking kidding me? I'd live on a fucking tropical island. They fucking manufacture cigars. They manufacture rum. All right? I mean, there's beach. There's fucking seafood. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Anyway, I'm just simply stating that is the next possible takeover of the United States Empire 2.0. And we already got a base there, Guantanamo Bay, so why not? All right? Why not? And by the way, the people will be greeting us as liberators, all right? I mean, they're having an economic problem in Cuba. They're having rolling blackouts. They can't even feed their fucking people. The people are starting to rattle and rise up. So hell yeah, let's go into Cuba. All right? I mean, if we are sincere about controlling the Western Hemisphere, then these two countries specifically, because they signify the death of South American, Caribbean communism. And that's another reason why I like these foreign moves by Rubio. It proves that we hate communists. We're taking out Maduro, or I should say Hugo Chavez is what brought communism to Venezuela. We take over and eliminate the communists in Cuba. And who else do we have? All right? Who else do we have? Maybe the FARC, leftists, the Sandinista leftists, but those are ragtag morons. All right? Colombia is next also. Trump told the Colombian president to watch his ass because Colombia is where most of the cocaine is produced. All right? So, Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, all right? Now, Colombia, the president over there is acting like Maduro was about a week ago and trying to talk a lot of bad shit and saying, hey, come and get me, Trump.
I'd buy that for $1.
Come and get me, Trump, you piece of shit. I don't give a shit. Come and get me. I'm waiting for you to try to taunt Trump. I don't think that's a good idea. Because from what I read, Trump's decision to nab Maduro was his televised dancing and him telling, come on, I don't give a shit. All that. I mean, what does this Colombian president think? I mean, you think he's going to be protected by the narcos? So we are in imperial mindset in the Western Hemisphere. Once again, America Empire 2.0. And let me get to some of these buy me a coffees. Geno X 1987, all that potential oil money is going to go to Israel while everyone stays poor. That's bullshit. All right, that's bullshit. And TCS, I hope Trump sends a message to my country next. Something has to be done because this opened my eyes with how many communists are roaming Toronto and Ottawa. Mark Carney needs to be taking, I'm not going to say that, all right? Well, I understand your angst. Just be careful what you say there, TCS, all right? I mean, your country's a little bit more totalitarian than the United States. I'm just saying. And Devious Dave, you know, you could move to Colombia. Pablo Escobar was very fond of hippos and imported them. I don't like Colombia too much. Don't be wrong. I think those Colombian women are pretty fucking... But I don't. I mean, Medellin is a decent, lit up, mountainous little town, or not a city, I should say. But I don't think so, man. All right, once again, Colombia, all right, was warned by Trump, the Colombian leader. Here he is saying, hey, come and get me, all right, senor? You come and get me, you motherfucker. So let's see what happens in Colombia, Cuba, and where else? I mean, we are in imperial mindset now. It is American Empire 2.0. Who's next? What about Greenland? Remember, that's when Trump, when he first came into office, he started talking about taking over Greenland and not ruling out military takeover either. Well, take a look at this. The Danish Prime Minister, which the Danes,
I'd buy
the
that
Danish,
for $1.
the Danish are the ones that are in control of Greenland. Put the PC shot on. U.S. attacking a NATO ally would be the end of everything. So, in essence, all right, if Trump does go in and take over Greenland, then that is the end of NATO. Now, to be completely honest with you, I'm not too sure if I give a rat's ass if it's the end of NATO or not. All right? Because, look, it seems as if Trump is trying to accelerate this confrontation between Russia and Europe. All right? And it seems like it's going to happen. I mean, you got Russia trying to conscript even more soldiers, and he's putting them on Eastern European fronts. And it seems as if the United States isn't going to do nothing about it, especially if we go in and invade Greenland and we're no longer a part of NATO. So, very interesting things happening in the world order of today. And as you can see, it's changing. It's changing. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm against this either, because I do agree that we need this for strategic purposes, considering the ambitious development of what Russia's doing in the Arctic. And I think everybody should read a little bit about what Russia is doing in the Arctic, which Greenland would provide a great defense mechanism for that. So it's about defense, it's about protecting the Western Hemisphere, that sort of thing. But if we go in and move in on Greenland, the Danes say that's it for NATO. I don't really care. All right? I mean, what is NATO doing anyway? I mean, NATO, they weren't even paying. They weren't even paying. Now, with that being said, okay, NATO countries, these are old Europe. You know, the Germans, the French, you know, these folks. But take a look at this. The UK completely down with the United States. Take a look at this. UK Starmer backs Denmark. Oh, excuse me. He backs Denmark, amid U.S. interest in taking it over. Now, he does back up our ambitions, but he doesn't like how we're going about it. Remember, Starmer's a kind of you got to have diplomatic. We got to do something in a diplomatic way. And look, I mean, I get it. I get it. And look, even though they're trying to talk harsh words towards the United States, take a look at this. Europe is implementing right now a 15% tax on corporations that operate in their countries. Okay? 15% corporate tax. This is the G7 nations, by the way. The G7 nations are introducing a new international organization called Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And everybody that's involved, it's about 150 countries. Everybody that's involved in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has to pay a 15% corporate tax. All right? On an international tax that's supposed to go to this Organization for Economic Cooperation. Well, take a look at this. U.S.-based multinational companies will be exempt from global tax deal. So I'll tell you this right now. This move by Venezuela has shook the rest of the world. They're talking a lot against us, but actions speak louder than words. And the fact that the United States multinational corporations are exempt from this global tax goes to show you that America's might is still respected. And thank God for Mother Green and her killing machine, and I'm talking about the American military. So even though they're talking about breaking up NATO, even though they're like, we don't like what you're doing with Denmark and Greenland and all the shit, we're just kidding the United States. You don't have to pay the 15% tax, the global tax. All right? Jesus Christ, man. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, we're being respected here. All right? Now, with that being said, the United Nations ain't too thrilled about what the hell the United States is doing either. Take a look at this. The power of law must prevail amid Venezuelan crisis, says the United Nations speaker. What law are you talking about? Huh? What law? China's been able to get away with whatever the fuck it's getting away with. All right? Russia has been able to get away with whatever the fuck it's gotten away with. I mean, you're putting terrorist nation states on the Security Council. All right? Who gives a shit? I've hated the United Nations. Anybody who's known me and has listened to me for years, the United Nations is a piece of shit. All right? The whole concept of the United Nations, this was a political theoretical approach that was created by a German philosopher by the name of Immanuel Kant, with a K, who concocted this idea of the League of Nations. And I've read Perpetual Peace. That's the name of the piece in which he defines the League of Nations, which eventually becomes the United Nations. He claimed, I'm talking, Immanuel Kant claimed that if we had this international institution in order to prevent rogue nation states from potentially causing global crises, that we would have this everlasting perpetual peace. Folks, all we've done with the United Nations hasn't stopped wars, it manages wars. You know that? And not only does it manage wars, its peacekeepers, whenever it goes into any area, particularly hungry areas that are starvation, they are exploiting the population with sexual exploitation in exchange for food. And if you don't believe me, look up UN sex for food. Look that up. All right? This is the legacy of the United Nations. It is a joke. And as far as I'm concerned, fuck you, United Nations. All right? You haven't done anything. There's no perpetual peace. You have done nothing but caused and managed the killings of massive amounts of people as opposed to war killing massive amounts of people. So, you know, it's the same shit, different plate as far as I'm concerned. All right? All right. So with that being said, this also shows that the international community that tries to holler and chest bump and saber rattle the United States, they were all silent after the capture of Maduro. Take a look at this. The U.S. capture of Maduro reveals Russia's weakness. Because remember, this was a close ally to Russia. This was a close ally to China. And what it shows is that if you partner up with Russia or China and you are in jeopardy from a rogue nation state or a belligerent nation state, that they're just going to leave you hanging. All right? If you partner with Russia and China, they're going to let you hang. I mean, that's literally what happened here with Maduro. They're just going to let you hang. And it reveals Russia's weakness. All right, because what is Russia going to do? What is China going to do? They've been silent. This was a very bold move. Now, that's why I was a little concerned about what the hell is going to happen in Venezuela now that we've taken out Maduro out of the equation. And are we going to still be in charge? And are we going to be able to trust the folks that are in charge there now? And it does show Russia's weakness. Let's talk a little bit about Russia since we're in the subject here. All right. Now, as I stated, it does show Russia's weakness. And it shows that Putin, isolated as Russia loses another ally, Trump's swift capturing of Maduro is yet another blow to the Kremlin's battered economy. All right. Because remember, Maduro was paying a lot of these people for protection. All right, he's paying Russia. Russia was sending advisors down there, giving it weapons, the whole 9 yards. And guess what? It all for naught. All for naught. So what is Russia to do now? I mean, it's not in a very good position. It's still in this quagmire in the Ukraine. What is it going to do? What is it going to do? Well, let's just put it this way. It needs more men. Take a look at this. Moscow Times. Russia needs more men to fight in Ukraine in 2026. Where are they going to come from? Because right now, the Russian population, the white Russian population, is about to go extinct. It's about to go extinct whether or not they went into this war or not. Because the white Russians that many of the right wing in America like to tout so much, they're growing extinct. And they're doing so because of a lot of factors. First of all, the Russian white males have a massive alcohol problem. As a matter of fact, most Russian males don't make it past the age of 45 because they have this addiction to vodka. Secondly, AIDS, HIV. AIDS and HIV is rampant in Russia. And this is another reason why the white Russian population in in Russia is crippling. Which is another reason why Russia is kidnapping all these children from Ukraine. Take a look at all the Ukraine children that have been kidnapped by Russia. Look up Russia kidnapped Ukraine children and take a look at how many children are kidnapped. What are they doing with those children? They're reappropriating those children into Russia so they can be Russian citizens. And that was a little bit of a factor on why Russia invaded Ukraine. It wasn't the factor. Obviously, the factor was natural resources, rare earths, wheat, fertilizer, a bunch of natural resources that Ukraine has in its possession. But part of it was to repopulate the white Russian race because it's going out. It's going out. Anyway, let me get to some of these donations. Mama Luigi, dumb question and long time no donate. How would you think the WEF would feel about a tentative America Empire 3 or 2.0? That's hard to say. I mean, if you take a look at the Council on Foreign Relations, which is an article I believe I just, I think this is it, right? No, this is not it. Hold on just a second. Here it is, right? Council on Foreign Relations. Oh, this is the Atlantic Council. Look, I'm going to get to a Council on Foreign Relations article here in a second, but the Council on Foreign Relations seem to be, kind of excited about what's going on. Now, whether the World Economic Forum is, I have no idea. Certainly the European component isn't. All right? Certainly the European component isn't. And I'm glad to see you there, Mama Luigi. Cheers. And Arrogant Bastard, hey, Dad, isn't Russia trying to recruit from Africa and poorer regions to try to bolster their numbers? They're very dependent on North Korea at this point in time. And excuse me one second. I gotta blow my honker. I don't know if y'all can hear that. So please excuse me. Hold on a second. And no, I'm not getting the flu or any of that shit. Yeah. I'm not getting the flu or any of that shit. I ate some wings, I ate some wings. Don't say Juno. What the hell is that? What the fuck is that shit? Jesus Christ. Anyway, aside from the white Russian problem that I just mentioned, Russia's economy is going down the fucking tubes. All right? I mean, by the way, I don't know if you've heard reports out of Russia that, ATMs aren't spitting out cash. ATMs aren't spitting out cash. They don't know how they're going to continue to float this economy. So Russia is in a desperate situation. And I think now that because Putin didn't oblige what Trump wanted in this peace deal with Ukraine, now you've got Trump coming out and now talking shit on Putin because he knows Putin is in a very precarious situation. His economy is dwindling. His conscription is dwindling. His weaponry is dwindling. And take a look at what Trump said here recently about Vladimir Putin. Take a look at this. Trump very angry as he accuses Putin of lying over alleged Ukraine strike. And Russia strikes and hits Kyiv hospitals, homes, killing civilians. And, of course, Trump don't like that stuff. Trump don't like that stuff. So now, after all this ass-kissing for fucking Putin and shit, all of a sudden now Trump is going to get all fucking fresh and shit on Putin. Now, all of a sudden. All right, now all of a sudden. Give me a fucking break, man. All right, give me a goddamn break with this shit. This is what pisses me off about Trump. Inconsistency. It makes us look fucking weak. Thank God Rubio is in this administration and knows a little bit about foreign fucking policy. And by the way, you morons that accuse me of being a damn neocon, I mean, isn't this kind of neoconservative type foreign policy? Huh? I mean, and what is neoconservative foreign policy? Democratization by force. That's what it is. Where are all you idiots that were calling me a neocon all these years? Where the fuck are you on Trump? Huh? That's right. You're shutting your fucking stupid mouth because you don't know shit from Shinola. All right? That's why I'm saying the American public right now are a bunch of fucking idiots. All right? They're a bunch of morons. I mean, they fell for it. You idiots fell for it. Look, we're doing neoconservative foreign policy now. All right? Yeah, that's why I'm cheering it on. Yeah, you want to know why? Because I want to sustain the continuity of America. And I know sustaining the continuity of America is not being some fucking prick holding your fucking prick in your hand, waiting for things to happen to you. You've got to go out there and make it happen. So you're goddamn right I'm happy about this foreign policy. You're goddamn right. I'm fucking happy about these fucking communists being taken out of South America. You're goddamn right I'm happy about it. You people, you're unhappy about it because you're useless fucking eaters. All right? Most of the people in America, at least 60% of you, are collecting a government entitlement and are being unproductive shitheads. And even in your unproductiveness, you can't even gain enough intelligence to see what the fuck is really happening in this country. You all make me sick. All right? You all make me fucking sick. I'm telling you right now, all of you idiots that were, yay, Trump, yay, no more wars, yay, no more neocons, yay. Look at you now, huh? You all better fucking enlist right now in the military so you can go and help this endeavor, all right, to control the Western Hemisphere, you fucking pieces of fucking ungrateful shit, all right? Right now, get up and call your damn recruiter right now and go and protect American Empire 2.0. This is what you people voted, all right? This is what you wanted. Now you got it, all right? So don't be some pussy, all right, like some fucking Democrat leftist. You go out there, you join the military right goddamn now, you pieces of shit. Look at these idiots. I'm not joining. I'm not going to do it. Look at this. Look at this. And look, this is supposed to be America first, and these are the American trash that we got in this country. Look at this shit. Look at this. The military won't take me. Look at this crap. Look. Are y'all looking at this crap? These people are ungrateful, all right? They're ungrateful. Fucking, look at this American slop trash, all right? Look at this American, you know what? You people are going to get drafted and you're going to fucking like it. And if you don't like it, we'll fucking put you in prison. Get them out of here, all right? This is American Empire 2.0. We're going to control the fucking Western Hemisphere, and if you don't like it, then go to Europe and go fucking defend their fucking piece of shithole. All right, go defend them. Fucking piece of shit. And Devious Dave, I'll join when we invade Mexico. You join now, Devious Dave, you fucking piece of trash. All right? You're over here subcontracting Indians and shit to go fucking prank call me and shit. All right? You're part of the problem, you jerk. You're part of the problem. Fucking asshole. Anyway, let me just fucking finish up, all right? I didn't even really want to do this show because I know most of you fucking morons in America are trash. I mean, a lot of this shit's going over your fucking heads. You know? I mean, most of you people don't even know whether or not you like the McRib or not. I mean, you people have the fucking enough intelligence you might be able to tie your fucking shoe. Most of you people don't even know how to write in cursive anymore. All right? I mean, most of you people are so dumb you would try to drown a goldfish. You're stupid. All right? You're fucking dumb. I didn't want to fucking do this show. I'm just saying, man. Anyway, take a look at this, all right? Let's move to China now, all right? Trump strikes on Venezuela will not embolden China. Guess what? Council on Foreign Relations. All right? So I hope that you folks that are saying that, oh, you know, Trump was going to be anti-neocon and, oh, man, Trump is going to end wars. The Council on Foreign Relations is advising Trump. Huh? Trump strikes on Venezuela will not embolden China to invade Taiwan. As a matter of fact, China doesn't know what the fuck to do. China has no idea what the fuck to do. It doesn't know whether to stick chopsticks in its ass or blindfold itself with dental floss. All right? Has no idea what the fuck it's doing. You want to know why? Because, folks, believe it or not, China invested almost $100 billion in propping up Nicolas Maduro. And now that $100 billion that it invested is all gone. All right, all gone. And aside from that, Venezuela was an oil source for China. That's all gone. Put the PC shot on. Trump's attacks leave China worried about its interest in Venezuela. Yeah, that's because the $100 billion you invested, it's over. It's gone. It's lost. The oil that you were getting from Venezuela, you're going to have to purchase it from the United States, and we're going to charge you at a premium, China, because you fucking idiots think that you are some fucking death before dishonor asshole, and you think that you can over-leverage with the United States. Well, let me tell you something right now. Now that we are in control of the oil that China was using, this gives us leverage on China for any future negotiations or any agreements. And it also hinders their ambition of them trying to think that they can go and invade Taiwan, because that requires a lot of weaponry that requires oil, which requires gasoline. And they ain't got it. All right? And look, they have agreed that they're not going to buy it from Russia, and they can't go back on that because if they do, they'll be helping Russia. And as I've told you all many times, Russia and China only optically look as if they're allies. I mean, they do all the photo ops and all that shit. There is no real legitimate agreement between these two countries. No legitimate military agreement, defense agreement, no extensive economic agreements, none of that shit. All right? It's all optics. Truth be told, China actually wants the majority of the geography that belongs to Russia. And I'm talking all the bumfuckistans that are all around Russia. As a matter of fact, Xi went last year to all the bumfuckistans in order to create some kind of economic agreement with those folks. So by providing, like let's say China needs Russian oil, they'll be helping Russia when Russia is right now economically down. So, look, I think that right now was a good strategic foreign policy military operation. Because now China and Russia are like, oh shit, maybe this administration is a loose cannon. Oh shit, we've lost our oil. We lost an ally. And China doesn't know what to do. China thinks that it's going to file a fucking claim with the international court or some shit, and that's going to force us to pay them back. Bullshit. All right, bullshit. Fucking Winnie the Pooh. Your move, China. All right? Your fucking move. And you know what their move is? They react by condemnation, but no threats. As fallout from Trump's Venezuela attack begins to ripple. Of course they're not going to threat, all right? Because we took action. All right? We took action. And action speaks a hell of a lot more than Chinese words, I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, I got to buy me a coffee here from Gino X 1987. Ghost, be like, I don't support Trump, but I'm down for any war I'm not personally involved in. Go fuck yourself, Gino. You're a fucking Canadian leftist communist piece of trash, all right? We're about to take your ice hole over at any moment, too. So sit there and shut up and get the maple syrup ready for us, you fucking piece of shit. And old man Frank Porkler wants us all to have our legs blown off like he did in Vietnam. Go fuck off, old man Frank. And arrogant bastard, do you think it might force them to agree? Look. This is all the game of foreign policy. That's why we're doing all this shit. We're trying to sustain the continuity of America and keep Americans' dominance for another 100 years. All right? So that's why. Look, no reaction from China. All right? All right? They're sitting there, they're chewing on their chopsticks. All right? So give me a break. Give me a break. Oh, no way you're going to take fucking Canada. Are you fucking kidding me? Y'all ought to be taken over by Sikhs, for Christ's sake. All right? All we got to do is throw bathwater out there. We'll take over the whole fucking country. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Jesus Christ. All right? Jesus Christ. Now, with that being said, this did spook Taiwan a little bit. It spooked Taiwan a little bit because take a look at this. U.S. decapitation strike on Venezuela sparks PLA copycat attack fears in Taiwan. All right? So Taiwan not feeling too safe considering Trump did this operation to Maduro in Venezuela. All right? So everybody is on edge now because this literally puts a new spin on the world order. It reshapes the world order. It reshapes the world order. I mean, just to prove to you that it's reshaping the world order, take a look at how, take a look at how Europe is reacting. Take a look at this. Europe rallies for Venezuela as governments fail to denounce the U.S. attack. So, all of a sudden, these European scumbags, who are supposed to be our allies, are giving us condemnation and are telling us that we're fucking, I don't know, terrorists or some shit over there in Europe. Well, you know what? I don't really give a shit. All right? I understand Europeans are our allies. And look, under Antony Blinken's foreign policy, we were trying to induce Russia into confronting Europe in order for us to sustain the superpower status of America for another 100 years. That was the goal. It seems like under Trump, we're getting an acceleration of that. We're getting an acceleration of that. That's why Trump and Vance and everybody at the beginning were talking a lot of shit to Europe about free speech. Because that's what the United States is supposed to pride itself on, right? Free speech, free speech. Well, this is the kind of shit that the United States is using against Europe on why we're not necessarily the best of friends anymore. Take a look at this. Trolls found guilty of cyberbullying Bridget Macron after spreading rumor that she's trans. Oh. Now look, I've said a lot of disparaging things about many administrations, including the United States current administration. And the worst I've gotten is double dipped when I was at a fucking taco bar from my chips and dip, all right? And I did get put on a no-fly list for a little bit. But look, I didn't have to go to fucking court. I didn't have to go to jail. All right, this is the United States of America. And if this dumb Bridget Macron whore doesn't understand that the court of public opinion is just that opinion, and unless it's true, because why else would you be pursuing this if it isn't true, then why are you doing this? I mean, are you getting your feelings hurt? I mean, that's the part of being a public figure. I mean, whether a politician, a celebrity, a rock star, whatever, that's the part of it. I mean, that's the exchange. That's why you're given power. That's why stars are given so much money. That's part of it. Jesus Christ, man. This is what Europe's turning into, man. You can go to jail for saying, this bitch looks like a man, baby. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ, this makes me fucking sick, dude. It makes me sick. All right? And look, I don't know if y'all remember this, but they're starting to recant when Germany eavesdropped on Obama. All right? From Air Force One. You're starting to see this old story resonate again to try to give us a recanting understanding that even though optically Europe and America are allies, they were always backstabbing our asses. All right? They were backstabbing our asses in the espionage department. They were backstabbing our asses in the economic tariff department. They were backstabbing our asses by taking all our money via the Marshall Plan rebuilding and not giving us a fucking cup of coffee for it. All right? So we are seeing a reshaping of the world order. And it seems as if, as I stated before in this broadcast, the United States is not going to be concerned too much with what's going on the other side of the hemisphere. We are going to dominate this part of the hemisphere. And I think this is a great foreign policy by Marco Rubio. I just hope that this situation in Venezuela can be taken care of via, I don't know, subcontracting to some apparatus out there without putting boots on the ground. But if we got to put boots on the ground, so be it. But that oil that is being sold, all right, the revenues from that oil has to go to the principal of the national debt. That's the only way this works. All right? That's the only way this works. Now, continuing on with international news, aside from all the countries we just mentioned, all right, Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, Greenland, all right, we also got our eyes on another country. And what country is that? Iran. Iran. That's right, folks. I tweeted last night that Israeli and United States forces could potentially go into Iran at any moment. And the Ayatollah knows it, and it's reported that he plans to escape to Moscow once the regime falls amid massive protests. And for all those that don't know, massive protests happening all over Iran. They are tired of being under this Islamist state. The Persians are rising up, and it seems as if Trump is willing to put fucking boots on the ground for fucking Iran. I'm not joking around. And I think we should. All right? I think we should. Put the PC shot on. Take a look at this. U.S. weighing intervention in Iran, indications received by Post show. And I think we should. We should have went into Iran back in 2009, okay? Because that is what spawned the Arab Spring. We should have went in Iran in 2009, and we did. All right? This is long overdue. We need to eliminate the Ayatollah. We need to remove the Islamist state. And we need to give the state to the people of Persia. You understand that? And yet it'll be another ally of Russia and China gone. Poof. Over. So let me tell you something. I like Marco Rubio's foreign policy. And let me tell you, I think he's making himself a pretty good choice for fucking president in 2028, if I don't say so myself. All right, look at this. Everybody's bowing down. Everybody's bowing the fuck down. What did I always tell you? If we show the United States might, everybody in the international community will bow the fuck down. All right? And that's what's happening right now. All right, so everybody out there, don't be fucking talking shit about America anymore. We mean business. All right? This is American Empire 2.0, you son of a bitch. American Empire 2.0. Now, I know many of you magatards didn't vote for this. And frankly, I don't give a rat's ass. But this should show you that, hey, foreign policy, regardless of what one politician says on the campaign trail, can pivot at any moment depending on the circumstance. All right, that's what's happening right now. Pivoting dependent on the circumstance. And hold on, wait a minute. Old man Frank with a rumble rant. Porkler says he wants us to all start calling him Butt Sexler. Jesus Christ. You see what I'm saying here? This is America right here. There's serious shit going on in the international community, and all these American shitheads can think about is fanning their nuts to fucking cartoon women that are imported from Japan that look like they're 11 years old. That's all these fucks care about. And it makes me sick. Anyway, as I was stating before I got rudely interrupted by these cuckold connoisseur, belch-breathing, sphincter-fingering, used cuckold fucking asshole motherfuckers interrupting me here, U.S. is weighing intervention in Iran. And I think we should. And by the way, we're not going to go at it alone, all right? Israel is going to be backing us up, all right? Israel is going to be backing us up, all right? And take a look at this if you don't believe me. Israeli military ordered to prepare for war on all fronts amid Iran protests, all right? So it's going to happen, baby. All right, it's going to happen. All right, a new reshaping of the world order is happening, folks, in 2026. It's going to be very exciting. And all of you magatards help make this happen, all right? So even though I don't like what Trump is doing on a domestic front, I do appreciate that he chose Marco Rubio and his foreign policy outlook in order to assert this new foreign policy, baby. Huh? How do you like that? All you magatards thought that Trump was going to be some peacetime president, that he was anti-neocon. Well, ha ha! And guess what? If this military expansion expands and you have to go out there and fight for this country, you son of a bitches better stop your bitching, put the fucking game controller down, and go out there and fight for your country, for your freedom. All right? The only reason that your fucking stupid ass can put about 2 or 3 or 4 fingers in your shit funnel and gyrate it counterclockwise to fucking cartoons and video games is because of the freedom of America. It's because of the spoils of America. Do you understand that? So for you people to sit here and say that I'm not fighting for this country, it just goes to show you what kind of a spineless, useless, non-productive shithead that you are, you fucking stupid little dick snot. And you should have been swallowed. Son of a bitch, probably would have tasted better. Anyway, we got Chones. Cheers to Chones. I mean, Chones over there in Rumble, hooking it up with 5 gifted subs over there at Rumble. Cheers, baby, cheers, all right? And hope you're having yourself a good Monday, all right? But anyway, once again, Israel and its military told to prepare for war on all fronts amid Iran protests. And that'll be great, I'm telling you, all right? I mean, that'll be 2 allies of Russia and China gone. Now what is Russia and China going to do? Now what is Russia and China going to do? Very interesting times here. You know, I mean, look, we got a lot of work on our domestic front, all right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think we're very good socially. The social landscape of America sucks. The economic landscape of America sucks. And the mental capacity of America sucks. So we got a lot of shit to worry about here. But thank God, all right, we've got a competent person at the Secretary of State who understands foreign policy that is spanking all these fucking morons that were fucking putting their thumbs at their nose for the past decade and a half at us. We're fucking showing them who's boss. All right. Anyway, I'm about ready to get out of here. I think I gave you guys a whole bunch of information. I've got a ghost show I got to do tomorrow. By the way, if you want to hear me tomorrow on the Ghost Show, I'm live every Tuesday and Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, of course, the Ghost Show is a lot different than this show right here. So, just FYI. Now it's about that time for totally useless news, folks. Totally useless news, which is everybody's favorite part of the TCR broadcast. All right, so let's go to the first one here. All right, did y'all hear about this? Pakistan authorities send the man who tried to open up the country's first gay club to a mental hospital. Huh? Now, this should show all of you that are a part of the LGBTQ that even though Trump is not necessarily putting you all on a pedestal anymore, you still have the freedom to conduct yourself in whatever capacity that you can conduct yourself in. All right? We're not in this kind of country. You should have some appreciation instead of bashing our country because you're pissed off at your parents for trying to indoctrinate you with fucking Christianity or some shit when you found out your G-spot was in your chocolate starfish. All right? Have some appreciation for America's freedom, you fucking stupid fucks. And we got trolling the interwebs. That was a great TCR. Reminded me why I got into this show in the first place. Well, thank you, trolling the interwebs. Cheers to you, man. Cheers to you. And Kits does a flip. I can't believe they sent Red Pill Media to a mental hospital. All right, I get what you were doing there, all right? I get what you were doing there. And hold on, Arrogant Bastard hooked it up with, I guess, a totally useless news article. I'll get to it in just a second, but I just want to put a point of emphasis that everybody in the LGBTQ community in America should have appreciation. Even if you're not being put as a preferred group anymore like you were during previous administrations, you have the freedom to do that. You're not going to be put in a mental hospital. All right? You're not going to be thrown in jail. You know, I saw a torture video. Believe it or not, they show a lot of this shit on X. All right? But they were torturing some cross-dresser drag queen in Syria. I'm not joking, like fucking, slicing and, beating. It was fucking horrible. I just would like for LGBTQ folks to stop bashing the country and start recognizing that this country is actually a pretty decent country and you should be proud. All right? You should be proud to be in this country instead of bashing it. All right? Anyway, we got Gasman who hooked it up. We're taking Caracas now, bitches. What? Hold on just a second. Let me get it. I got to take a look at this. Are we taking Caracas right now? I mean, it's always when I'm doing a show, Trump decides to have some fucking operation or some shit. Hold on, let's see what the hell this is. Gunfire in Caracas right now. Let's take a look at this. Put the PC shot on. What is this? Here we go. Let's get ready to rumble. I'm telling you right now. All right. Let's see. Who else we got here? We've got, what is this? We got Arrogant Bastard who wanted me to take a look at this. All right. Now, I'm not too sure. I mean, that's video out of Caracas. I have no idea if they were actually going in there. This is all preliminary, of course. But we shall see. All right. Let's get to, this is something that Arrogant Bastard wanted me to take a look at here. Put the PC shot on. Buffalo, New York earns chicken wing world record. Largest chicken eating contest in the world. As a matter of fact, Buffalo is who created the chicken wing. You know what I mean? So very interesting there, Arrogant Bastard. And Devious Dave said Elvis had predicted all this. Great. Now, I know many of you people are saying, yeah, you know, eat chicken wings, because I eat a lot of chicken wings, but, you know, it is what it is. All right. Anyway, let me get to another totally useless news article, and sticking with the gay theme. All right. Sticking with the gay theme here. I don't know which one I should. Okay, let me go with this one first, okay? I don't know if y'all know this, but the government keeps track of what you shove up your ass. I don't know if y'all know this. Take a look at this. Put the PC shot on. The government keeps track of what people get stuck in their butts. These were the worst items last year. Now, let's take a look at some of these. Oh, my God, look at this. Look at this fucking picture of some doctor looking up somebody's ass with a fucking magnifying glass. Excuse me. All right. They've had nails, screws in nails. This is something. These are things that have been up people's asses this year. And as I just stated, the government keeps track of this. And TCS hooked it up with a buy me a coffee. Maduro said, I'm innocent. I'm a decent man. I'm the president of Venezuela. I consider myself a prisoner of war. And it's ironic he said that because he imprisoned an entire country. Yeah, no shit, TCS. Cheers to you, man. All right. So once again, these are the things that were shoved up people's asses that the government has kept track of. Screws and nails, baseball, reason giving. I wanted to see what it felt like. Uncooked pasta, an egg, dog chew toy, dryer sheet, a sandal, a doorknob. Oh, Jesus Christ. Marbles, an eyeglass. Or you mean eyeglass? You shove your eyeglasses up there? Jesus Christ. A rock, beard clippers, plastic, reason given, excuse me, was feeling constipated for 2 days, so I decided to put some beard clippers up my ass. A turkey baster. I mean, what do you want to get, a sample? A plastic cleanser bottle full of fluid. Isn't that technically an anal cleanse or something? Anyway, never mind. We got shampoo bottle, reason given, slipped in the shower. Are we supposed to believe this? Shampoo bottle, reason given, I was bored. A lubricant bottle, enema bottle, aerosol can, a dental pick. Are you fucking kidding me? A wine stopper, corn cob holder, ouch! A highlighter, invisible marker, 2 pencils, a magic wand toy, 7-inch dildo and pliers, tried to remove the dildo. Used to try to remove the dildo. I mean, you must have a deep anus. A broken piece of butt plug and tweezers used to try to remove the butt plug. A film canister, battery-operated light, flashlight, plastic coat hanger with outside hanger cut off so he could drive to the ER. A penny, light bulb with glass side first, vape pen, corn cob-style pipe, rubber gasket, a piece of nose hair trimmer, rectangular travel toothbrush, a toothbrush, what is this, Phil Harvey? A baton, and a hair tie. And as you can see, this is an Iranian man who once went to the ER that needed emergency surgery because he stuck deodorant up his ass. As you can see, there's a deodorant can up his ass. Good God. And trolling the interwebs, another name for this list, Wednesday at Ghost's house. Fuck you, all right? Go fuck off. Go fuck off, you fucking morons. Jesus Christ. Now, since we went from gay to what people get shoved up their ass, we might as well stick with, no pun intended, stick with the subject here. All right, because now we're going to move on to healthy asses. All right, I'm not joking. Try to make your ass healthy. All right, take a look at this. Do you need special towels, cleansers, and or serums for your butthole? I'm not joking. All right, towels, cleansers, and serums for your butthole. This brand thinks so. It's called Asset. All right. When was the last time you thought about skincare? Down there. All right. According to the CEO of this brand, Asset, and I don't even know if I could show that. I don't even know if I could show this. There are brands that represent almost every inch of the body and tackle intimate problems, but no brand has dedicated itself to the butt until Asset. Founder and CEO Chad O'Connell told the Post, "It's the ultimate taboo." He says it's one worth breaking. Anal irritation does not discriminate. It affects everyone equally. Men and women, gay and straight, all ages, all backgrounds. All right, most of the issues crop up around 2 inches of the anus, a highly sensitive zone known as the pineal area. All right? I'm sorry, dude. I mean, this is for real. I'm not joking. That's where people experience issues like excess itching, inflammation, pain, swelling, discomfort, commonly associated with hemorrhoids and anal fissures. Jesus Christ. Can I even show? I don't even know if I can show this. All right. Anyway, you all get it. All right. If you want to get a cleaner asshole. All right. Assets. All right. The name of whatever assets is what you want. All right. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I got some some Rumble rants. Phil Harvey got mentioned. And Arrogant Bastard, hey, think he was able to walk around with that shit like his shit didn't stink. All right, that's enough. All right, I've had enough. All right. I've had enough. All right, folks. Anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in with me tonight. All right. Once again, True Capitalist Radio. If I do have another True Capitalist Radio show, it will be on Mondays. All right. Now, I don't know. I don't think people are really listening to True Capitalist Radio, so that's why I don't do them as often. But if I do them, it will be on Mondays, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, all right? And also, I do want to remind everybody that my social media of choice, all right, is X or Twitter, and I would suggest everybody, if you don't have one, get one. I mean, and if you, look, I'm not getting paid by X, but I do like their Grok AI. I think it's far superior to ChatGPT. I'm not even kidding. Once again, put the PC shot on. Go here, The Ghost Report. All one word, no underscores. The Ghost Report. And I'm also broadcasting on X or Twitter. As you can see, there's 252 people watching. So cheers to those folks on there. But follow me on X or Twitter because you'll be the first to know whenever I decide to do some spontaneous broadcast. I usually broadcast it from there. All right? Anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. I appreciate you for listening to the True Capitalist Radio Show. I will be on the Ghost Show tomorrow. All right? And, of course, the Ghost Show is a little bit of an internet tomfoolery show. It is very rambunctious. It is not a serious show like the True Capitalist Radio Show, all right? So anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. If you're going to tune into the Ghost Show tomorrow, you better hook it up with some videos now if you want to be played at the beginning, all right? Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in with me. Until next time, I'm out of here.